Women Who Own It podcast spotlights women business owners who are pioneers in their field, setting trends, blazing trails, and creating game-changing innovations. Brought to you by WBENC, the largest certifier of women-owned businesses in the U.S. and a leading advocate for women business owners and entrepreneurs. And me, Allison Maslin. I've been a business owner for the last 35 years. I'm the Wall Street Journal best-selling author of the book Scale or Fail. So join our bold community of women who built it, grew it, and own it. I'll see you on the show. The Women Who Own It podcast is supported by Target Corporation, a women-owned corporation. Welcome to Women Who Own It, the podcast brought to you by WBENC, the largest certifier of women-owned businesses. I am your host, Allison Maslin. I am the CEO and founder of Pinnacle Global Network, where we mentor business owners around the world to grow and scale companies that change the world. And today, talk about game-changing women. We have Hannah Testani, who became the Chief Executive Officer of Intelligent Audit in March of 2020. And prior to this role, Hannah had spent the previous 12 years as the Chief Operating Officer, and under her management, Intelligent Audit has seen explosive growth year over year, where she's responsible for adding to Intelligent Audit's increasingly impressive customer list. She was also recognized by supply and demand chain executives as pros to know in 2020. And I'm sure beyond. So before Intelligent Audit, Hannah graduated from Carnegie Mellon University with a Bachelor's of Science in Finance and worked at Goldman Sachs in the loan syndication and trading role. In her spare time, she enjoys hanging out with her kids. She loves puzzles, cooking, all that good stuff. And now she's spending time with us. So Hannah, excited to have you on Women Who Own It.
Thank you. And thank you for creating a platform that lets women like me talk to you.
Yeah, well, we love empowering businesswomen that are out there rocking it as you are. And, can you just share a little bit your journey into this company, Intelligent Audit? How did it all come about?
Yeah, that's a great long question. It wasn't what I expected growing up. I didn't expect to be where I'm at today. That being said, I love it, and I'm happy that everything happened to get me here. So as a kid, I always wanted to be a CEO of a company, which I know that sounds so crazy, but that was my ambition. And I wanted to work at Lehman Brothers. That was my dream job. I remember being at Goldman, and I was like, I just want to get to Lehman. And right after I started at Goldman, Lehman went under. So I was like, wow, like this is a big change of pace. So my father started this company 26 years ago, and he had kind of always been asking me to jump in. And I interned for him way before I probably legally could have, but I was 12 and doing a lot of his work for him as he was kind of evolving the company. And then since then, I decided to come here full time in 2009, and it's been a lot of fun since. So my role has adapted. What I have always been good at is owning anything that I would step into. So I was confident enough in myself to be able to not get overwhelmed by being different, and being the different person in the room, and embracing that to be able to talk to any customer of any size, any partner of any size, any potential investor of any size. So I think just foundationally, the company has been able to evolve, and I have personally. So it's definitely been a roller coaster that has allowed me to be in this conversation, but a good one, and hopefully one that continues to evolve, and is good for us and good for the industry.
Yeah, that's fantastic, especially growing up in the business and learning that from your dad. I also, my dad was a consummate businessman as well. And I really believe that's why I'm here today. is just being around his energy. So that's so powerful. You've said, I read in an interview you did that intelligent audit is a big pillar in your life. In what way has it been? And then also really what sets your company apart?
It's a huge part of my life. I mean, I'm just so passionate about it. So it's hard to not always think about it. It's just like anything else that I think you're passionate about, it consumes you. And because there's so much opportunity to continue to expand and to grow, and because I truly just love it so much, it's definitely a huge part of every part of my day. I try and not think about it, and I actually feel like I get the most problems solved for the company when I'm not working, but I'm doing something else, and it pops up, whether it's driving or walking or hiking or getting a massage. It's just like that's when I can come back and be like, oh, I should do this, this, and this. So there's always, I think, that the chance of stopping and turning your brain off that allows you to really clear yourself and be accomplished. In terms of why I think we're seeing so much success, I think it's like when someone asked Wayne Gretzky why he was the best, and it's because he said that he was skating to where the puck was going to be instead of fighting over where it was before. And I think that's very much true to us. There's a lot of companies who say they do what we do and probably establish it and get it done, but they do it manually. Whereas our approach has always been through technology and thinking about what does the customer actually want and what is the future going to look like. And I think that because we're always ready to think differently and disrupt and be innovative, it's allowed us to really think through what does the future need to look like, and how should we challenge our customers to really better themselves, because they might think they know what they want today, but if we partner with them and we partner collaborate with all of our customers, we can probably come up with something that is significantly better. So to me, I think our success is because we're not thinking about today's problem, we're thinking about the future and what does the future look like for our customers and for us, and how can we help be a better part of that?
That is so brilliant, Hannah. Seriously, there's a lot that you unpack there. I think just touching upon what you said about where you get some of your best ideas and breakthroughs when you're not working. It's so funny because I got a big download for our company while I was getting a massage, and I was with my husband on vacation, and he's like, can't you just relax and get a massage, But I think that's when your mind is clear, that you can actually think. But I love the fact that you all are focused on technology. We are in a disruptive marketplace now. And so you really do have to think about more going towards where you're going instead of getting caught up on where you're at. So that's really powerful. Now you were the COO for 12 years. And many of our listeners either have a COO or would love to have a COO. What do you feel makes a successful chief of operations?
Somebody who is a good multitasker and isn't emotional, but can make the right decisions and just be ready to embrace anything. I mean, it's like you can start your day thinking you know what you're about to tackle, and then the day starts and then it's completely shifted. So in general, I would say being a good listener and a good problem solver, and then being strategic. You're the role that really runs the company, and you need to be able to manage, to be able to delegate and lead. So there's probably a lot. And I would say when I started, there were probably a dozen employees at our company. Now we're 180. So that role has of course grown, but someone once taught me that it doesn't matter if you work for 10,000 per person company or 1,000 or 100,000, your core 100 people around you is all that's important. You need to be able to delegate and to trust your team around you. So I think that it's hard work, being able to lead and manage, and then be ready to problem solve.
Yeah. And when you have a brilliant COO, I mean, it is life-changing for the CEO, for sure. So
Our COO is amazing. I think I just told him on Friday that I was like, I just want you to know I'm so thankful for everything you do. I might not say that to you every day, but I think about it all of the time. So thank you for everything you do that I don't even know about, but I know that you're just my
right.
shield that is getting that, and I trust him. So I just know he's going to get it done the right way.
Yeah, to have someone that has your back. And like you said, you don't know all the things they're doing. That's the sign of a leader. Like they're just taking charge and running with it, without having to get your approval or ask you.
Yeah, it's like it's the most amazing news you can get where someone's like, there was a problem, I solved it, just FYI, here's what it is. Like, I would love to just get those all day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, you've now shifted into the CEO role, as the visionary, and the CEO is more operational. How was that transition for you?
Yeah, it's funny because I've always felt like I've had the CEO responsibility the entire time I was COO, but I never got the title. So I actually feel like for me, I had less work to do when I became CEO because I could shift the COO work to a COO and I could still do what I was doing here. But in general, I would say there's you're either working on the business or in the business. And when you're the COO, you're very much working in the business continuously, just making sure it runs smoothly and everything is status quo there. When you're the CEO, you're working on improving the business and saying what's next and where am I today? Where am I going to be in 5 years? And really being good at avoiding distractions and not working on what's urgent, but working on what's important. So in general, I would say it's being creative, thoughtful, listening, and then trying to be strategic in terms of thinking about what's next for the industry and for you as a company.
Yeah, I like that differentiation that you shared. That's very clear. And which leads me to my next thought and question is that CEOs often have a hard time letting go and empowering their team. You know, it's very hard for them to let go because they're so used to having their hands in everything, especially in the earlier days. And as they grow, they're still doing the same thing out of habit or fear, and it can be crippling to the growth of the business. Has that been challenging for you to let go? Have you had moments where it's hard for you to, either stop talking or step back? Just curious about that.
Yeah, I would say one of my strengths is I'm a pretty good delegator. So I actually feel like if anything, I I will expect too much from people after I've kind of walked away from a problem. So that not necessarily is my problem, but something I do see as an issue is if I am present, then the people around me will act differently. And that's hard because I want to be involved to be able to make sure that it's forward progressing and I can see that there's something being done. But at the same time, when I'm there, the conversation is different. And that's a balance that I haven't mastered yet. It's wanting to know what's going on and be present, but not own the conversation and lead the conversation. So there's definitely, I think, a lot of growth for me to be able to make sure my team around me feels confident that when I'm there, I'm just there as a bystander. And I just want to be there to help if I'm needed. But please proceed without me and don't feel threatened or overwhelmed that I'm there. Because it's hard. I mean, you act differently depending on who you're around.
Mhm.
And when they do report to you, whether it's directly or indirectly, they'll change that. And I think all of us change how you are depending on who you're in the room with, whether it's family, friends, with some colleagues. So it's continuously being a better social butterfly, I think.
Yeah, that's great. And it is true. It's almost like, mom's around, so I'm not going to fully express
Yeah.
myself. But what are some tips you can share around this for the business owner listening that's like, I'm afraid to let go. I still need to approve everything going in and out of the company. What would you say?
The hardest part is going to be starting to let go. But it's also the only way you can grow. So if you don't start to let go and trust people, then you'll never evolve. You'll never grow. You'll never be more successful than you are today because you are limiting your ability to expand. So I think start small, and don't feel like it's just too big of a project where if you give it to someone, it'll take you more time to train them and to let go. Because yeah, it will be to start. It could take you 5 minutes, it could take someone else 2 hours, but eventually it's not even 5 minutes from you. And they're gonna own it. So check in and create metrics that say, what do I need to know? What do I need to see to make sure I'm comfortable that you're doing this? But then you have to let go. And it is so liberating not having to own it. And I know that this is a huge part of your belief, but I 100% support it. Let go, find good people that you trust, and then watch them succeed. And they will wow you. They will take what you're doing today and take it to the next level. And if you don't do that, then be happy with where you're at today, because that's where you will always be.
Yeah, that's such great advice. I love that. I love the baby steps too, right? Because you do it and you see everything's okay, and empowering your team. And your company has had incredible growth, Hannah, in the last few years. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
And which requires, I would imagine, lots of change to happen in a short amount of time. How have you and your team handled the change? And have you noticed or learned from some of maybe mistakes or things that can happen when there is so much change?
Yeah, change is just part of the day to day with everything. I mean, you got to be ready to evolve. And what our team has been good at doing is failing and then learning from the mistakes. So there's no there's no book on what you can read that says, here's how to live life and you'll be successful and happy. That just doesn't exist. We all have to learn. And you can be in the room with the smartest CEOs in the world, and they'll all ask the same questions because no one knows how to do this the right way. So you just have to be ready to make the smartest decisions at any given time and then quickly fail and quickly learn from it. So if you decide to embark on a new initiative, measure it, monitor it, and then figure out what does success look like. How do you know 4 weeks from now that what you started out to do is what you expected it to be? And when do you stop it and reinvent? So, it's continuously evolving. You'll create a roadmap of where you want to be in 5 years, and directionally it's good. So it's important to have that, but be ready for it to change. So it's just like everything in life, right? I have 3 young kids, and it's like today's schedule is today's schedule. Next week's is next week's. Like you got to be ready to just adapt to life as life comes, because you cannot predict everything. You can't plan for everything either. So be ready and be nimble.
Yeah. And I think too, especially in a small business with employees that maybe have come from a bigger corporate environment, thousands of employees, and coming into a company, let's say under 100 employees or even under 50, whereas their role is going to be changing. So they have to be willing to be nimble and be open to that.
And it's good learning because when you're at a big company, you're doing one unique position that's very defined, which is good. You become an expert at it. But when you go to a smaller company, you have the ability and the advantage to wear many hats. And that's building skill sets. And when you're uncomfortable, you learn. You're forced to do something that you haven't done before. So embrace it. And again, you might not be perfect at it. No one is, but learn from it.
Yeah, 100%. Now, with all the growth, and all the years that you've been part of the company, and looking back, what have been some of your most powerful scale strategies that have contributed to the growth of your company?
That's a great question. We most of the times when we've grown, it's been pretty linear. So it's not like we went from 30 employees to 80 overnight. I would say first where we have failed, and there's room to grow is, um, when you hear a problem in general, it's hard to define what the root cause is, and it's easy to just, throw more bodies or throw money at the problem, thinking that it's going to solve it. And that just doesn't. That's not always the case. So, I would say one of the biggest failures we've had is adding too many resources in the incorrect spot because we thought that would help us. And we were able to stop that quickly. In general, now our methodology is to measure everything that we do. So if we need to add resources or add technology resources or add people, let's first figure out how do we measure success, and what is the baseline for performance in this group. And now, if we were to add more resources, how much more will we be able to get in terms of output? Whether it's developers and coding or account management, whatever it is, we want to know what success looks like for that person. It helps us and that person. And then from there, we use our technology to be able to figure out what people are actually doing, whether it's, again, developers, someone on their finance team, anyone. We're able to actually measure that. So it's taking the emotion out of it and using a data-based approach of saying, here's what people think that they're spending the most time on, and here's what they're actually spending the most time on, and trying to be smart and prescriptive about where we allocate our resources, and then continue to expand, as well as from a product perspective, because you have people and product, and you want to be able to see what people are actually doing and what they actually care about, and then focus your attention there versus some people who might scream the loudest, but it's not really a big opportunity for you and the company.
Right. Yeah, that's really powerful advice. I love that. And, we often think, oh, like you said, just putting someone in that position or throwing money at the situation, but you're kind of guessing. And until you really look at the numbers, look at the data, are you going to know? So sounds like you've had a lot of growth around that. So we learn the hard way sometimes. So
100%. It's unfortunately true. There's no playbook.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you are international, and Latin America, Asia, Europe, Africa. You're probably in more countries, continents since that information. But what do you do from a sales perspective, positioning perspective, to make sure you're in alignment with each country's culture? Because we are becoming a global marketplace. That's change for us since the digital world is on fire. Have you had to shift differently for different areas of the world?
People are people, regardless where they are in the world, but culture is very different. And we've noticed that 100%. So even in the US, you can go to different regions and it's completely different in terms of how you would interact and what you would say. So yeah, I mean, if we conduct business in China versus Brazil, very, very different what's acceptable. So we always hire local account managers because they're the ones who are going to guide us and be the liaison between the customers and us. So it is 100% different. I don't preach to be an expert anywhere outside of potentially the Northeast, which I'm pretty comfortable in, but it's true. And when I even go to California for meetings, people are like, slow down, Hannah, like live a little. Oh my God, everything is so much like easier here. And you go to Texas and it's different than Oklahoma. So in general, I would say the local culture is nuanced. And we are doing, as a society, I think we're trying to be more welcoming of differences, but it's hard. Because what I might say to you in this meeting might seem totally fine, and then it's extremely controversial, something that I'll say to the next person. So you kind of got to always be mindful and be restricted and reserved in what you say, because you don't want to offend anyone, and it's not your intention, but you might not know.
Right. And I love that you have that's so smart, having someone from the region that is managing that account or that part of the business. That just,
Makes sense.
makes a lot of sense. It seems like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Today, I'm going to share some tips with you from the Scale It method, which is our proprietary method and the only method focused solely on scaling all parts of the business. So you have the S in scale, strategic vision. C is cash flow. A is alliance of the team. L is leadership, and E is execution. And I want to talk to you about leadership. Now, a lot of times with leadership, we talk about inspiring others and motivating. But some of the most challenging parts of being a leader is speaking your truth. And I got some advice years ago that someone told me, Allison, you really have to learn to embrace conflict. You have to learn to go towards the elephant in the room. And sometimes that's hard, right? Sometimes we don't want to deal with conflict or those icky conversations. But if you're not speaking your truth, maybe to someone on your team, maybe to a business partner, something to do with your business, and you're holding that in, then that affects your health. It affects your focus. It affects every part of your life. Now, look, I was a born people pleaser, middle child. Why can't we all just get along? And I used to swallow what I really wanted to say, and I was truly sacrificing my happiness. But the other thing is that we kind of become a doormat. I hate to say it. And so when you truly speak your truth, and you can do it in a tactful way, I don't mean you have to yell at somebody, then everybody knows where you stand and you can have peace with that and you're not harboring anything. And so you can get to it and then move forward. All right. This is your life and every experience, every moment counts. All right. So I challenge you to go speak your truth. So now business owners can be very hard on themselves. It's like, they've accomplished a certain amount, but it's not enough. It's not enough. I should be further along. They're not great at celebrating their wins. Has that been an issue for you? And how do you celebrate your wins as a company?
As a company, it's easy. As an individual, it's hard. As a company, you have each other. So you're able to create goals and as a team be like, yeah, I crushed it. We did it. And it's when you're in a team, it's easy to motivate because you're motivating everyone, not just yourself. Mm-hmm. As an individual, it's hard. And it's a lonely world, right? Because whether it's your friends, your family, your colleagues, you don't want to say wow, it's great. We're having great growth numbers or EBITDAs is great, our gross margins are high, and then talk to someone who's like, I just got laid off, or here's what I'm struggling with, and so it's hard to celebrate every win. So I've started to be better at celebrating at least myself, and whether it's a massage or a shopping trip, I'll try to look forward to a win because otherwise, what are you living for, right? If you're not going to celebrate it, then why do it? And
wow, it's so true.
Yeah, and I love to win. I think that I was talking to my husband yesterday because we have my oldest daughter who's 6 she's just like me. You give her any project and all she wants to do is win. And he's like, why doesn't she want to have fun? And I'm like, fun to her is winning. How do you not appreciate this? And he's like, fun to me is doing it. So I'm like, I just don't understand. So I realized that we're just cut differently. And winning is very much the high, but at the same time, you need to celebrate it and you need to be thoughtful. So as a team, it's really easy to celebrate because it's everyone, we're all happy together. But as an individual, it's just harder. So there's definitely room to grow there and to celebrate, but not, hurt anyone else and, make anyone else feel upset.
Yeah. I think even just recognizing it within ourselves, it's hard to give ourselves kudos, but
Yeah.
Maybe just more massages, more vacations, time like that. I'm actually going to Mexico tomorrow, so there'll be
Oh,
some
I'm so jealous.
celebrating there.
Have fun.
So now this is the 25th anniversary of WBENC, and this show is all about WBENC. And how has being a certified women-owned business through WBENC been a part of your journey? How have they assisted you in your business growth?
We just became WBENC certified in November. And I would say it's validation to begin with. It's one thing to become a woman CEO. I mean, it's easy. You're a woman, you're a CEO. It's great. It's the second part to be recognized for your hard achievement, because it's hard. It's a man's world, and to own it and to be successful is not for the faint of heart. So I'm going to go to the WBENC conference in June, which is my first appearance there. But in general, being able to say that we're WBENC definitely get us into the door of companies that would have taken us longer to get into otherwise. We're still in the beginning part of figuring out how to utilize everything that WBENC has to offer, but it's something that, as we've been out there in the market for years, we've always been asked why we weren't WBENC. Guys, it's hard. Like, it isn't just like a snap your finger and you become WBENC. There's a lot of diligence that has to go through it to get this done. So I'm excited for this journey. I think there's going to be a lot of potential. And I'm eager to see what we can accomplish being, WBENC certified.
Well, I'm excited you're going to the conference. You're going to be blown away. I remember the first conference I went to at the time was in Las Vegas, and just walking up and down the aisles and seeing all these major corporations like UPS and Honda and Apple and Starbucks and, all, over and over and over, they're supporting the women business owner. Like, it really moved me almost to tears. And so we will be there. We're going to have a booth at Pinnacle Global Network. And so I'm excited to see you in person. That will be wonderful.
Yeah, after Mexico. Are you in California? Isn't your life a vacation every day?
Yeah, well, it is. And I'm super grateful. I came here years ago and never left. And it is beautiful looking out in the ocean and all of that. But I am still running my business, which I do love as well. And sometimes you just have to I can take a staycation. I don't know about you, but when I do a staycation, I still open the computer and I'm checking emails and all that kind of stuff. So when I get away, I really allow myself to disconnect. So, well, this is awesome, Hannah. And I've learned a lot from you. I know everybody listening has as well. Where do you see yourself and your team taking your company, Intelligent Audit, over the next, 2-3 years? What are you most excited about?
I think our product roadmap is extremely rich and robust, and our approach to continuously innovate and be customer obsessed, but technology focused, and really helping them with supply chain as it's going to become more and more disruptive. I mean, everyone now understands what supply chain is. Yeah. So with that, there's so much opportunity to truly empower our customers to help them become smarter shippers. So I'm very excited about what we're going to do for our existing customers and new customers, and how we're really going to help transform them to make better, intelligent decisions that ultimately get shipments over to me and you faster, cheaper, and less exceptions. So there is a lot that we're focused on today and working on that I think we'll be able to give our customers immediate value once we're able to roll them out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, they're blessed to have you at the helm. And you're clearly a powerful leader making a difference in the world. So thank you for being with us today on Women Who Own It.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Definitely. And look forward to seeing you in Atlanta. That will be a lot of fun. And so for those of you that are listening, I hope that you enjoyed Women Who Own It. If you did, please write us a review. We really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do that. Share it with business owners that you care about, and get out there and elevate yourself, because you are worth it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
So if you are a businesswoman and you are so ready to scale your company, I want to give you a special gift. And that is my Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Scale or Fail. It was endorsed by Damon John and Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank, and really gives you a step-by-step guide to scale your company. And this is totally a gift from us. And all you need to do is check the URL below and send us your information, your shipping information, and we will send a book to you. So happy scaling.